Osio Negada. Good morning and welcome to the 66th Annual Cherokee National Holiday State of the Nation. I'm Cherokee Nation Chief of Staff Chuck Hoskin, and I am pleased to serve as your MC today. The Cherokee National Holiday commemorates the signing of the Cherokee Nation Constitution in 1839. This is a celebration of Cherokee heritage and culture, a reflection of our accomplishments as a sovereign nation, and a time to look forward to our future. We continue to focus on Cherokee Nation's core initiatives of homes, health, and hope. Today, we are placing special emphasis on this year's Cherokee National Holiday theme, Family, a bridge to the future, a link to the past. At this time, please stand as you are able for the posting of the colors, the Pledge of Allegiance, the National Anthem, and blessing. Color Guard, post colors. Thank you. Please welcome our students from the Cherokee Immersion School and their teacher, Mita Nix. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Cherokee National Youth Choir, directed by Miss Mary Kay Henderson, as they lead us in the singing of our national anthem. Great job. Thank you, Mary Kay and the choir. Mr. Crosland Smith, Cherokee spiritual leader and Korean War veteran, will now come forward to deliver the blessing. Crosland?
In the moment that we're doing this, if all of us are together by spirit, we can have what our ancestors had when they could still do what the Creator taught them to do. The Creator actually spoke to them. He actually appeared to them. It is very possible that if we are together, that we can still have the same experience as our ancient ancestors did. These blessings are a little bit different and from the regular prayers that you know of. It is functional in nature. In the moment that we're doing this, you are only to have your spirit on mind and nothing else. Silence everything else. Disconnect from everybody. Be a single solitary creation. At this moment in time, for all time, multitude of your creation have come before you at this time. We have come by the Spirit that you gave us. We have come to ask you for a divine interference against all negative things. So help us to do away with the factors that divide people. Teach us to be one. We want to become one by the Spirit you gave us, mind, body, and soul. When we do this, we become one with the great God. In that reunification, it is God that takes over this prayer and this blessing. He is the one that will give you a divine blessing, a divine cleansing, with the divine power, divine protection, divine success in the right way in everything we do. I think our nation is doing exactly that today. In appreciation for all these wonderful things that the Creator has extended to you. And I sure do hope, by God, that you have an open mind to these things and to these blessings. We offer our own traditional Thanksgiving song in appreciation for what the Creator did for our ancestors and what He can still do today. The sounds of the song could never be understood by man. It is said by my elders that only God understands those sounds. However, in our belief that these sounds encompass the world, in that respect, it is a universal prayer that becomes one with everything in this world. Yahoyani, 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 Yunala. We yo, we ya, ya we ya. Because of God's ancient law, we now come before Him. He is here. Because of that law, we have come to commune with our God by the Spirit He gave us. And we ask Him, do not let us fail by the negative forces of this world, our negative attitude. Our final gesture is our traditional Amen. We-he-yo, we-he-ya, ya-we-he-ye, we-he-ya. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for that beautiful blessing. At this time, I would like to introduce former Principal Chief and current Speaker of the Tribal Council, Mr. Joe Byrd, to lead us in a moment of silence and deliver the Tribal Council's welcome.
Thank you, Chief of Staff. You will notice the Eagle staff on the stage with us today. One of our old stories is a time when the birds were to select a leader. The bird that flew the highest would become the chief. The eagle flew so high that its wings were scorched by the sun. The scorch marks the flight, signifying a calling like a medal on a soldier. In Cherokee culture, the eagle, as we call it, Wohatli, represents honor, truth, purity, loyalty, and leadership. Our warriors have often worn eagle feathers in battle to represent these honorable qualities. With these qualities in mind, please join me in a moment of silence to honor our ancestors and the heroes who have served and are currently serving in our country. Let's take a little moment here of silence for our people. Well, what a beautiful day we have been given to gather and celebrate. It's always an honor to represent the legislative body of the Cherokee Nation. We've been working hard this year. Rex, David, Mike, E.O., Brian, Frankie, Sean, Mike, Harley, Victoria, Dick, Buell, Keith, Wanda, Mary. Appreciate all that you've done. We just passed the largest budget in Cherokee Nation history. This weekend is a homecoming for many of us, whether we come from far or whether we come from Dry Creek, Stillwell, or Kenwood, Oklahoma. It's important to us for citizens to gather and celebrate our history and our culture and our future. Like many of you, we will spend today and the next few days visiting with friends, old friends, and hope to make new ones. We welcome all of you Cherokees here today. Cherokee National Holiday allows us to take stock of our accomplishments, the things that we do day in and day out on the Tribal Council. It gives voice to the Cherokee people. I know I speak for these council members here when I say we are proud to represent you as representatives of the Cherokee people. We strive to make our government stronger, better, and more responsive to the needs of our people. Just as important, the gathering serves as critical reminder of our sovereignty as tribal government. Our sovereignty has always been and remains our most precious and treasured possession. If you don't understand what I just say, go look up Wooster v. Georgia, and you'll know what I'm talking about. As a speaker of this great council, we as a council put our needs of our Cherokee people first. Above all else, this is the guiding principle that governs everything we do as lawmakers for the Cherokee Nation. We have done much in the past year for our people, and I thank you for spending time in Tahlequah this weekend. You can see evidence of the changes and improvements that are going on here in our area. What I'd like to do now is, before I call up the Cherokee Circle, get ready, is that during the trail, and even today, we had women in the background that always made it possible for us to survive today. I want everyone here to applaud our awesome Cherokee women. Of all the legislation that I've been a part of in the past 17, 18 years, the Violence Against Women Act, we've passed legislation for concurrent enrollment, for better health care, for better housing. But that legislation, violence against women, where we protect them, has been the most important to me since I've served on the Cherokee Council going back 20-something years. That really touches my heart. And now, if the Cherokee Circle will make your way, we put this group together some time ago. I wanted to take a moment, and DJ McCarter is not a young rooster anymore. DJ is one of the most wisest person you'll ever meet as far as the history, the culture, and the language. So we just call it the Cherokee Circle. And we had to have a leader that could really sing these songs, and Charlie Shell. You won't find a better leader than Charlie Shell. Hominy Lil Dave, are you with us? Hominy Lil Dave. Hominy lost his wife several years ago, and he hasn't been with the group since then. And I had to get on one knee to ask him to sing this group here. So we're going to do a CD September the 4th, and back to the old days and the good ways of our Cherokee people. Because in our oath that we took, we said we would promote the culture and the language of the Cherokee Nation. We don't want to become a society of just a strong corporation with always worrying about the net profit. We've got to always think about our culture and our way of life. This song is called Beautiful Home, and we're dedicating it to some really outstanding people who's passed. Betty and Jack Kingfisher. They were leaders of our community. So this song, Beautiful Home, and Charlie Shell will lead it, is a tribute to that family, the Kingfisher family. Charlie?
Who won't do harm? Big when the sun, I'll keep thee
Thank you, Speaker Byrd and the Cherokee Circle. That was a beautiful memorial song. Now, it is indeed my honor to introduce our Deputy Principal Chief and Vietnam veteran, Deputy Chief S. Joe Crittenden.
I told them yesterday when we were practicing, I would say hello, OCO, and either good morning or good afternoon, depending on the time. And I think it's still morning, so good morning. I am Deputy Principal Chief S. Joe Crittenden, and it is my honor to welcome you to the 66th Annual Cherokee National Holiday, State of the Nation, as we celebrate the day and our Cherokee values: family, community, and responsibility. But before we go any farther, I want to take a moment and recognize the many Cherokees who are here today and who have served the United States of America in the armed forces. Friends, I am a U.S. Navy veteran, and as a Deputy Principal Chief of Cherokee Nation, the largest tribe in this great country, I want you to know that I believe in this country and our greatness in this country. As most of us know, Indian people serve our military at the highest rate, and we are always proud of that fact. Now, there's people standing at the perimeters of this gathering today, and I know that some of them are veterans. So when I ask the military veterans in service today or those that have served to stand, we want to honor you with applause. So those that are standing around the perimeter, if you're a veteran, you're standing already, so wave. So everybody in the audience that's a veteran, please stand and let us honor you. That was wonderful, and I want to personally thank you all for your service to this country. I want to thank you in the audience for joining me in that special and heartening salute. As Cherokee people, it has always been important for us to publicly pay our respects to our warriors. Accomplishments like the Cherokee Veterans Center, our annual Warrior Flight, and the new food distribution partnership we have established with the Oklahoma Food Bank, so that our veterans or their widows will not go hungry. These kinds of service bring pride and honor to our tribe. Now, as we commemorate our annual homecoming, we recognize this day and every year to remember the signing of the Cherokee Nation Constitution and the Act of Union, both signed in 1839. Those documents reestablished the tribe's government in Indian Territory after the forced removal from our homelands in the southeast. This Cherokee National Holiday is a celebration of our people and our inherent sovereign rights as a tribal government. The homecoming theme this year is family, and for us there is no greater responsibility than our family. Strong Cherokee families have been the key to our success for generations and will continue to be the foundation for all future achievements at the Cherokee Nation. As always, it is so good to see so many friends and family here today at the State of the Nation and share our Cherokee bonds during this special time. Friends, it is now my honor to bring up Chuck Hoskin Jr. Chuck serves as the Cherokee Nation Secretary of State, a role he has fulfilled admirably since 2013. He has also served on the Cherokee Nation's legislative body, representing District 11 for 6 years, and serving 2 years as Deputy Speaker of the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council. Let's give him a hand.
OCO, my friends. Friends, our theme this year is family, a bridge to the future and a link to the past. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 7 years, Chief Bill John Baker has executed more ideas, delivered more programs, and improved more lives than any leader in our modern history. He did it all side by side with Deputy Chief S. Joe Crittenden, along with the support of the Council of the Cherokee Nation. Together, they developed a mission to make positive and sustainable changes for Cherokee families, centered on the things that matter most in their lives: safe homes, quality health care, and hope for a better future. Friends, every employee of the Cherokee Nation and our businesses embraced these goals, and we began to execute those plans. Home ownership, of course, is a critical building block of a happy family, and strong families are the foundation of our communities. You're about to hear from a Cherokee family who is living in a new home built by Cherokees for Cherokees.
We are Tim and Angela Burgess, and we got our home through Cherokee Nation New Home Construction. My whole family grew up around here and was raised here, so now the next generations come along. We have nieces and nephews growing up here. We went to the mortgage assistance program, where they help families to get home buyer ready. You know, we went to those classes, we went to the meetings.
Well, my mom is 80 and my dad's getting pretty close, and it's just the more of a comfort to know I can just go over and check on them, and they're real close if they need anything. My brother also is handicapped and lives with them, so it's a real time saver and a comfort just to know that we're that close.
It was really beneficial because we learned how to budget, and those kinds of classes and learning those things were really helpful to us.
I personally realized that once Chief Baker was in, you could see a difference. You could see things were happening.
The advice I have for people trying to get a new Cherokee home is to, follow the advice of their counselors. It's really helpful in the long run when it comes to buying a home.
It's just such a blessing to be able to have a home that I don't know if we would have been able to do on our own without Cherokee Nation's help. Just to know that we have somewhere that will be ours, and that where our family can come.
We took the chance. We went out there, and we were so thankful for the Cherokee Nation and all the programs they've offered us that have gotten us to where we're at with the new home.
We thank Tim and Angela for sharing their story. Folks, they're among the more than 800 Cherokees who have a new home because of the home program of this administration. Now, the new home construction program is not just the best in Oklahoma. Folks, the Cherokee Nation Housing Authority is the best in the nation. Homes, of course, are vital for the development of the next generation. And with so many beautiful Cherokee children in need of adoption or foster care, Chief Baker emphasized the opening of homes to Cherokee children in need.
We were Ashley and Brian Wagnon, and we were foster parents. Well, I had two really hard pregnancies. They were both preemies, and I almost passed away during the first one.
We didn't know whether we wanted to have another child just because of the danger to her.
We had talked about maybe adopting in between. When
the same thing happened with our daughter, that happened with our son. Our daughter made it 35 weeks instead of 30 weeks like our son. We contacted ICW. They're in it for the right reasons. They're in it to help these kids and ultimately help the tribe on the Indian Child Welfare side, because that's our future.
So we decided we would do foster to adopt. Got a newborn, and she was with us for about 5 months, and then she left. She went back to her birth parents. So it was bittersweet because, that's where she needed to be, but I was sad. But I realized, she needed me then, and that I could get over losing the baby, so we decided just to do straight foster care.
There are kids that need homes. We don't want to see them go to shelters or something like that where they may not get the same kind of care that they would get in a family.
Well, it feels great knowing that you're taking care of this child that needs someone to love them and to care for them.
Indian Child Welfare is more personal. You can really get to know the people that you're working with well.
Someone asks me about it, and I definitely try to give them the positives and the negatives. It's hard, but it's definitely worth it.
If anyone is interested in fostering or adopting, I do recommend that you contact Cherokee Nation Indian Child Welfare. They're great to work with, and we need Cherokee homes for Cherokee kids.
The Wagnon story is truly remarkable and inspiring. Now, this administration established the first foster leave policy for our employees, which is the first of its kind in the entire state. The family-friendly leave policies have made the Cherokee Nation the employer of choice, and they help keep the best and brightest employees right here in Northeast Oklahoma.
I work in human services as an executive assistant, and I've been here for 9 years. We help with people who are in emergency situations. We can help them get into a hotel or a shelter and help them get back on their feet. That's kind of what we do in human services, just to help people and give back. I like working with all the staff. I like my boss a lot. She's great. I'd heard a little bit through the grapevine that Chief was working on changing the maternity leave policy. And yes, I was pregnant whenever he signed it. We had 8 weeks full pay vacation. I got to focus on bonding with my baby and transitioning into being a mom of 2. And those 2 extra weeks that we got, it meant the world to our family. And we're really thankful for that, because time you don't get back. I was the first person to be able to use it, so I was pretty excited about that. Cash he's getting ready to be 5 in 2 weeks, and he is all boy. My daughter just turned 3 in July, and she is a prissy little princess. There's nothing in the world we wouldn't do for them. Our kids are our whole world. I feel very blessed to be able to work for a company like Cherokee Nation that values family time so much that they changed their maternity leave policy and time something that you don't get back, and they're not little for very long. So we really grasped that and really went with it. We're so thankful for Chief and this administration.
Because of policies like expanded maternity leave and the increased minimum wage, we have more Cherokees working for the nation and our businesses than ever before. When children like Candace's kids grow up, of course, they'll need an education and they'll need a job. And we want to make sure we have the policies in place to motivate them to work for us in the future. Folks, we're an economic engine in Northeast Oklahoma, and that's because of the education and job opportunities that we have created and that are improving the quality of the life of Cherokees. Today, because of Chief Baker, because of Cherokee Nation, we're making record investments in training and preparing our people for the future.
I was working at Walmart. I did that for about 6 months, then a friend of mine started working at the Hard Rock, and so I moved also. It's a new experience every day. Come in and meet new people, the people you work with, and of course we work so much it's more or less like family. Minimum wage for the nation is a couple dollars above the state, which really helped out. And then of course getting the scholarship and everything at once was like a huge, life change. And of course, meet my wife.
We worked in the same department. I was a lead on the floor in security at the time, and he was a hotel detective.
We honestly didn't even like each other.
But then after we got to talking more, we realized that we had a lot in common, and we actually liked each other.
Yeah. But no, working with my wife is awesome.
I was really appreciative of Chief Baker that he actually took the time to read my husband's letter.
The chief and the nation itself really changed my life and my family's life, and of course my kids' lives. Them seeing us go to school and letting them see that really means a lot.
At first I was kind of like, well, is he really going to get to read it? Because he's got a big job.
It meant a lot to me, and I know it meant a lot to my family. So I just wanted him to know that people do appreciate everything that the nation and that Chief Baker does for us.
I admired him for doing that.
Anyone out there looking to start or continue their education, I would tell them to come to the college resource here at the plaza in Tahlequah. They can help you out with any questions or needs you have, or even give them a call.
Thank you for recognizing his letter and his appreciation.
Chief Baker, thank you. You really changed my life.
Friends, we are building a foundation for the future here at the Cherokee Nation. Across the 14 counties, we have transformed the landscape with new health clinics, new businesses, food distribution centers, career services outposts, car tag offices, expanded roads and infrastructure, and new homes in each and every county. We know that the Chief of the Cherokee Nation cannot achieve these kinds of milestones without the invaluable contributions of the legislative branch. So to each member of the Tribal Council of the Cherokee Nation, please know the administration appreciates your support, and we thank you for your service to the Cherokee people. Right here in Tahlequah, the capital of the Cherokee Nation, our impact is not just visible, it's unavoidable. For example, we built the much-needed Cherokee Veteran Center, which sits right next to the tribal complex. We expanded and enhanced the tribal complex. It includes a second story and now houses the Attorney General's offices and state-of-the-art courtrooms. We restored the Capitol Square that is just behind you. It's undergoing additional remodeling for a new museum that will open in the spring of 2019. And of course, we built this wonderful Peace Pavilion that we're under today, all completed under Chief Baker's watch. In 2019, we'll open a new entertainment facility to the south of town at the Cherokee Springs Plaza, and we'll cut the ribbon and dedicate the new 469,000 square foot W.W. Hastings facility. That Hastings Expansion, I'm proud of the Hastings Expansion too. Folks, it will be the crown jewel, the largest tribal health center in the United States. Exceptional health care for every Cherokee will be our chief's lasting legacy. And let's hearken back to the very first piece of legislation that Chief Baker signed. It dedicated an additional 5% of casino profits for contract health. This was the first step in making good on his commitment to bring the very best health care to the Cherokee people. It's resulted in an investment of more than $300 million going directly into hospitals and clinics in this region. That piece of legislation alone has literally saved countless lives, like the life of this young mother.
I was actually on a road trip, and I was in St. Louis. And I was in the shower, and I found a lump, and I just started crying. I have had 7 surgeries. I did 2 years of chemo and radiation. I thought that when I had my last chemo, I was gonna be fine, and I wasn't. It is what it is. You just kind of move on. I try not to read about it too much because everybody has a different story. And a lot of people have told me that it is 10 years down the road and they're still not feeling well. I do not think that's my story. I am looking at starting working in September or October through the Cherokee Nation. The Career Services is what it's called, and they are willing to work with me on a daily basis. I could not have had better medical care. I don't know if they treat everybody like this, but I just know that I felt special. My primary care physician said anytime you need to call me, call me. My radiation oncologist is one of the best in the nation. Everybody that I've dealt with, I don't know where I would be if it were not for Chief Baker and the Cherokee Nation and Hastings Hospital. Cherokee Nation Health Systems saved my life. In the end, it's been a good journey.
The old Cherokee Casino will be transformed into a Cherokee Language Center. It'll house the immersion school, the Master Apprentice program, and our Cherokee translators. This will produce both young and adult fluent speakers of the Cherokee language. For 7 years, Chief Baker and Deputy Chief Crittenden's mission of homes, health, and hope has continued to inspire each and every one of us. We do the right thing for the right reason every time. Folks, it's this kind of leadership, this kind of moral compass that has built a foundation for our future. Through his dogged determination and principled passion, Chief Baker has built more structures, created more hope, and is enabling the Cherokee people to thrive, fulfill their dreams, and live their best lives.
I work in the Government Relations Department for Cherokee Nation. I'm a Special Projects Officer. I like multitasking, and I like staying busy.
The challenging part is deadlines. There's a deadline for everything. The whole executive branch, and they're all just true leaders. And they make work so easy. They value family just like I do. You can hear it in their voice. You can see it, how their actions are. They're just great people. And I remember Chief saying, "I want this done." I remember him saying that in his inauguration speech, that he wanted better health care and the joint venture was going to be it. Unfortunately, diabetes is a major downfall in Native American culture. I mean, my dad had diabetes. I wish we had that back then. So with these new clinics that we're going to be opening, it's closer for our people to go and get services. Yeah, we help people by the day, but whatever you're able to help like the whole nation, it's something bigger. We're leading the nation in so many things, but the healthcare is one of them. It means a lot to me because that means my kids and my future grandkids. I'm living the life that I wanted to live. I'm reaching my goals. I have a career. I give all the thanks to Chief Baker, to Deputy Chief Crittenden, Chief of Staff, Secretary of State. I give them thanks, because they opened doors that I thought would never, ever open for me.
My fellow Cherokees, it's my honor and privilege to ask you to join me in welcoming our next speaker to the stage, the Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation, Bill John Baker.
Osio Nagata, good afternoon. This day marks the 7th time as your chief we have come together as family to discuss the state of our nation. The stories you just watched are inspiring. And they show us that the state of our nation is not about those that are on this stage. It's about the hundreds of thousands of Cherokees impacted daily by our Cherokee values and traditions. I'd like to recognize my family, my wife and best friend, the First Lady of the Cherokee Nation, Sherry Baker. My mother and mentor, Dr. Isabel Baker. My children, grandchildren, brothers, and extended family are also here. Please stand. I'm grateful for their love and support and proud that they are here today. Every year, Cherokee families gather on this day to celebrate our shared ancestors, our shared history, and our shared future. Having endured untold hardships from the Trail of Tears, where so many of our people perished, Chief John Ross sought to protect our tribe in its new homeland, promote peace, build alliances with tribal nations, and strengthen our role in America. In 1843, he oversaw an international peace council in a structure much like the one we gather under today. This new Cherokee National Peace Pavilion is a tribute to that gathering that occurred close to where we stand right now. Today, we continue to protect our tribe, build alliances, and promote peace so that our people can thrive. I am happy to tell you our Cherokee Nation is strong. But more importantly, it is getting stronger than it has ever been. Our alliances range from county governments to state government to Capitol Hill to corporate America. We are the largest tribal government in America with more than 360,000 citizens, and we're making profound improvements in the lives of Cherokees. Our nation is stronger when our citizens share in our successes. Ambitious ideas coupled with swift actions have created a sustainable change over the past 7 years and have solidified a firm foundation for our future. My goals have been to place the Cherokee Nation on the road toward financial independence and strengthen our sovereignty. We have achieved those goals. Between the Cherokee Nation government and our businesses, we have more than 11,000 employees. Over the past 7 years, our economic impact has more than doubled from just under $1 billion a year to over $2 billion this last year. That means job creation, sustainable economic growth, roads and infrastructure development, and helping businesses to expand and relocate to our 14 counties. It also means enhanced cultural programs and a willingness to work with Congress to defend our rights in court. And today, Cherokee families have unprecedented opportunities. Where the state has failed our neighbors, Cherokee Nation routinely invests in public schools, infrastructure, roads, bridges, and water lines. We provide first responder units within our 14 counties with gear and vehicles and supplies, and relief was sent to the flood victims in Houston, for the Joplin tornado survivors, and to help battle raging wildfires in California. Cherokee Nation will never leave or relocate. This is our home. Along with the other tribes in the state, we are an economic force almost as big as the oil and gas industry. Our presence is felt, our investments are paying off as unemployment rates drop, and growth is occurring all across this region. Creating good, quality jobs benefits us all. But for every Cherokee family, a new job is a godsend. And just like our neighbors, we want our kids to get an education. We want them to have good paying jobs close to home. We want them to know this: you don't have to leave Oklahoma to make a change in the world. I know Sherry and I want our kids and grandkids to know that they can make a world of difference right here at home within the 14 counties of our strong and vibrant nation. As families grow, so does the need for housing. When I was sworn in as principal chief, my goal was to start building houses again, which had not been done for a decade. We now have more than 800 Cherokee families living in safe, affordable homes. Cherokee families living on minimum wage can afford one of our 3-bedroom brick homes at $350 a month. Our housing program also creates jobs. Cherokee homes built by Cherokees in the Cherokee Nation. We're talking about hundreds of jobs for Cherokees, bricklayers and roofers and electricians and heat and air and carpet layers and backhoe operators. It goes on and on. These jobs have a multiplier effect on the local economy, as income is spent locally in small businesses on goods and services. We also help local public schools as federal impact aid dollars attach to every child living in one of these homes. It brings in $2,800 per child directly to our local school districts. Last year, we had about 400 children in our homes that impact aid was attached to. And that resulted in over $1 million in federal funding that went directly to local public schools. We are putting more dollars into the local school districts than ever before. This year, Cherokee Nation donated over $5.5 million to local school districts from the sale of our tribal car tags. We've given more than $50 million to Oklahoma schools since 2002, when we started the car tags. Investing in public education is one of the hallmarks of my life as a public servant. I went to school at NSU, Mr. President, and studied to become a public school teacher. My mother is a teacher. My father and grandparents were as well. Our funding for college-bound Cherokees has nearly doubled from $8.5 million to almost $16 million in the last 7 years. We've increased the number of yearly scholarships awarded by 43%, and every qualified Cherokee Nation student that applied has received one of our Cherokee scholarships. We funded STEM programs for Cherokee girls, for robotic teams, and trips to tournaments. We hired a mobile STEM teacher to offer specialized mentoring and tutoring programs. Last month, our partners at Google recognized the late Mary Golda Ross, a Cherokee citizen, granddaughter of Chief John Ross, and NASA aerospace engineer. For her critical role in the space race in the 1960s. We must continue STEM investments in our children so that they can have a part in mankind's next great leap forward. We also need our kids in college studying everything from law to medicine to technical skills. We are creating jobs at a record pace, and we need every skill set. Soon, we will be adding more than 800 new jobs at our new W.W. Hastings facility. Now, we know Native Americans have a lifespan 5 years less than all other races in this country. Our mortality rates from diabetes are 3 times the national average. Our people suffer from higher rates of cancer, heart disease, suicide, alcoholism, and hepatitis C than any other population. We are more than numbers. These are our lives of our children, our parents, our wives, and our husbands. When we can step in and provide a person with diabetes the insulin they need to live a fuller life, we do it. When we can offer behavioral health support to our most vulnerable patients, we do. When we can cure hepatitis C, we do. When we can address the growing demand of health services, we do. We made an historic investment of $100 million from casino profits. We built 2 regional health centers, doubled the size of 2 centers, and now we have 8 health centers. Every Cherokee in the nation is within 30-minute drive of a modern health care center. And the crown jewel of our facilities will soon be the largest tribal health center in America. When it opens next year, it will revolutionize the ability to care for our citizens. We brought an official end to the decades-old freedmen dispute and welcomed our freedmen brothers and sisters into the Cherokee Nation. We settled indirect cost payments through the Indian Health Service and filed lawsuits to defend our natural resources and trust assets and protect our families from the opioid crisis. All of this progress was made possible by working on a government-to-government basis with our state and federal partners. Our relationships in Washington, D.C. are productive and strong. Securing a joint venture that is valued at over $2 billion over the next 20 years from IHS and constructing our own state-of-the-art 469,000 square foot facility is proof. All our progress, building homes, investing in education, health care, creating jobs, for our people could all go away if we are not vigilant. That is why we must continue to educate Congress about who we are. That is why we must continue to defend our rights in the courts. That is why we must continue to be at the table at the state capitol. That is why we must continue to partner with corporate America to bring jobs into this region. That is why we must continue to work with universities to help ensure medical professionals stay right here in Tahlequah, taking care of our citizens. Friends, that is why we must never let our guard down. Sovereignty never sleeps. We must stay the course and fight for you. Fight for the future of the Cherokee Nation. 180 years ago, Chief John Ross led the tribe through the Trail of Tears to Indian Territory. Almost 50 years ago, W.W. Keeler became the first modern-day elected Cherokee chief, and he provided leadership to reconstitute this government. It was 30 years ago when Principal Chief Wilma Mankiller had a vision of economic growth and opened the door for a new era of prosperity. These chiefs did not face the same challenges we face today. They did not have the same opportunities and partnerships we have built for ourselves over time. But as leaders, each of them left an undeniable mark on our people. Throughout our history, we have faced periods of transition, and our nation has grown to greatness. How we grow from here will be determined by a series of decisions we make together. Our next generation of leaders has a unique challenge to keep leading our people into an entirely new and modern global era while keeping our core Cherokee values and lifeways intact. Our lives today are much different than those of our ancestors. We all live differently than our grandparents. Even in changing times, our Cherokee cultural traditions and ways of life must be rooted in us. My fellow Cherokees, I ask you, what will our legacy be 7 generations from now? I hope we will be remembered as the administration that set the foundation for the future, the foundation for success, that took bold steps to provide better health care and offer more education and opportunities for our Cherokee people. That we dedicated ourselves to the preservation of Cherokee traditions. That we sought new ways to advance and evolve the Cherokee language programs. That we defended our sovereignty by being at the table and in the courts and successfully negotiated with the state and federal governments. we may always carry the weight of the infamous Trail of Tears on our shoulders. But we have persevered and reshaped our path to ensure Cherokees and our government have a brighter future. We have taken control of our own destiny, and that work must continue 7 generations into the future. Our eyes are on the future, while our roots and our family tree are firmly planted in the past. God bless each and every one of you, and may God continue to bless the Cherokee Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go away from the script a minute, and some people are holding their breath out there. But, you know, we reach a point in Cherokee history from time to time that is tremendously, tremendously important. You know, we gather today to remember our ancestors, to celebrate our ancestors, and to promise them that we will do what they did. And that's work as hard as we can to provide for our children, grandchildren, and all down the line. Today we meet in a forum for the last time when we have these 2 leaders that have visited with us today. 7 years. 7 years they have stood shoulder to shoulder. And we know, those who study Cherokee history and know Cherokee history, we know that our greatest leaders had heart. They had Cherokee heart. And so today we come to this celebration. But we cannot let it go unrecognized that, again, the final forum in which we have Chief Bill John Baker and Deputy Chief S. Joe Crittenden, I believe we ought to recognize them for that. Gentlemen, thank you for being the great leaders that you are. Now, please stand as you are able as Pastor D.J. McCarter delivers our closing prayer and wait for the Cherokee National Honor Guard, Color Guard, to retire the colors. Mr. McCarter.
We're going to sing Amazing Grace in Cherokee. And if you don't know the words, if you don't know how to sing in Cherokee, you can most certainly hum in Cherokee, okay? And we want you to do that. Unesvana heyu wechi ika kuya heyi naiku chosa viyu lose ika kuya honam ase no iunechei iu no dulena talineta chilu chitli utan Listi. Let's pray. Skian Etlana, Yogi Dodan. Yalla de Ski Steli Ski Chisa. Echali Eli Cheho. Ega, Gawaktia, Jadadolich, Tanidolan, Jalega Yesi, Ogadaski. Alesko Amayes, Daski. Alega Hidachti de Gesti. Tun Unigan we use Sadega Hansel Ayes, Ale Amayes, Ayes Gessa. They have Sesti de Gesti. O cheek to hand, go host, you're gonna done. Johnson Humney, Jadan Tesla Gessesti. Skidin each and Elicha Hoy. Ostu Gessa. Kahia yoni don't hasty. Ale get your yuhi, yes, hasty. Father, we come in the name of Jesus this afternoon, thanking you for letting us be born here in the Cherokee Nation, born here in America. We thank you for that. And Lord, I pray this afternoon for our leaders in the Cherokee Nation, that you would guide and direct them in the way to serve the people of the Cherokee Nation, your people. And also we pray for the leaders of our great nation, United States of America. You watch over them. And Lord, you guide them in the way that they should lead. Give them your wisdom, Lord. And this is our prayer. And we know that nothing can be done here in Cherokee Nation as well as in America without you leading. And if it's done in the man's way, it's going to fail. But if they look to you, look for your wisdom, look for your guidance, Lord, then we know that everything's going to work out just fine. So, Lord, I just lift our leaders up before you, the council, Bill and Joe, as well as the President of the United States, the Congress, and the Senate. I lift them up before you that you would just watch over them and bless them abundantly. Bless each and every person that is here abundantly. Again, we love you. And thank you for loving us, and thank you for your salvation that you provided for each and every individual. Thank you, Jesus, for being our God. And everybody said, amen.
Color guard, retire the colors.